Hey supermoms, are you ready to turn your dreams into reality and find the perfect balance between family and work? Join the Work at Home Moms community. Click the link in the video description to find out more and start your journey to financial freedom and fulfillment.
King Charles has paid tribute to the remarkable wartime generation who made the ultimate sacrifice to keep the world safe from tyranny on the 80th anniversary of the D-Day landings. Speaking to commemorate the D-Day veterans in Normandy, he expressed his profound sense of gratitude for the men and women who did not flinch when the moment came to face that test. He described the supreme test faced by the troops, in reference to the speech made by his grandfather, George VI, who broadcast to the nation 80 years ago, "Once more a supreme test has to be faced. This time the challenge is not to fight to survive, but to fight to win the final victory for the good cause." We recall the lesson that comes to us again and again across the decades. Free nations must stand together to oppose tyranny. Their Majesties were pictured speaking with dignitaries at the British Normandy Memorial in Ver-sur-Mer today, as they joined others at a poignant commemorative event to remember the sacrifice made of those who put their lives on the line to liberate Europe from the Nazis. The monarch along with veterans looked emotional as he listened singer Johnny Flynn perform Song with No Name, while the Queen was seen wiping her eyes as the memories of one D-Day veteran were read out. It is most high-profile event Charles has attended since he was diagnosed with cancer earlier this year, with His Majesty eager to pay his respect to those who served in the armed forces. The veterans in attendance received a standing ovation from 2,000 people as the public paid tribute to the dwindling number of D-Day survivors. Around 50 British veterans have made the journey over to France, down from 255 at the 75th anniversary 5 years ago, and those who never made it home. The Prime Minister Rishi Sunak gave an emotional speech at the event, saying that only by remembering can we ensure their sacrifice is never forgotten. As military planes flew overhead, Mr. Sunak led the audience of 2,000 people in giving the veterans in attendance a standing ovation. Schoolchildren presented veterans attending the UK's national commemoration event at the British Normandy Memorial in Ver-sur-Mer, France, with white roses, while cadets waved flags. At the same time, an RAF band performed a marching display, while Dakota military transport aircraft, widely used by the Allies during the Second World War, flew overhead. Earlier in the day, a lone military piper played on Gold Beach to mark the moment the first British troops stormed the Normandy coast on D-Day 80 years ago today. Pipe Major Trevor Macy Lilly played Highland Laddie as he was carried to the beach at Arromanches on a Royal Marines amphibious landing craft flanked by service members at the exact moment the first troops waded ashore as part of the Normandy landings. Crowds gathered at the beach to view the reenactment, which harkened back to a lone piper who played during the landings itself and was never shot at, during a picturesque sunrise, a far cry from the cloudy and rough seas that welcomed 25,000 soldiers who landed on the same stretch of coast in 1944. Among those present at Arromanches this morning was Reform UK leader Nigel Farage, who joined others in paying tribute to those who lost their lives during what was the biggest seaborne invasion in military history. There have also been events remember the British troops on Sword Beach in Saint-Aubin-sur-Mer, Canadian soldiers on Juno Beach at Courcelles, and U.S. forces at Utah Beach in Pupaville and Omaha Beach in St. Laurent-sur-Mer. Pipe Major Macy Lilly, who also performed his role as the lone piper on Gold Beach during the 75th anniversary, said it was a privileged, humbling experience to take part. "We are here to represent and remember the veterans who are still here today, and for the young soldiers of all Allied forces who didn't make it home," he told the BBC. "It was freezing cold out there this morning and last night. I was on the landing craft out behind the harbor, looking up at the stars, and thinking to myself about exactly what the young soldiers had thought prior to them coming onto the beaches." He performed to crowds of reenactors who gather in their wartime vehicles, and visitors had previously filled the area as the sun rose, with some writing in the sand and others cupping hot drinks as they looked out to sea. After the Piper's Lament,